Hello and welcome to another podcast of the Quantum Achievers. It's been a long time since I've actually done one, and I've had so many people tell me that they listen to these podcasts, and so it inspired me today to just do something that I think is really important going forward, and that is that we put so much effort into planning, into getting things perfect, in making sure things fit in slots. And I think that when we start being a quantum achiever, the level of intelligence that the quantum field has is so intelligent that if we come to it with planning, we actually wreck it. And so today's call, I have a very special guest who I've become very close with, and in a very bro way. We make lots of funny jokes, and we have a very good time laughing. And he and I literally have no idea what this is about. None. He can confirm that right now. And so
100%.
100%, right? And if I can introduce this guy's a quote unquote YouTuber who is not just a you know some cock and balls who puts a thing on a video and hopes for the best. This guy's got millions of views on his videos, like some of them in the tens of millions, like something ridiculous. I don't know if I made that up then, but it sounded good. And
Sounds good.
but I think it's true. And so you're talking to a guy that actually knows how to communicate at a very high level of which the world's listening to in the millions. And I think that's a really awesome thing, especially in these times. And so when we go to prepare things and we go to move forward, we actually get in the way. We get in the way so badly. And message is to those of you that have got something deep inside them and you want to get it out there. And a lot of my calls in our creator club, and we just did a live event called Changing Realities, and how important it is, and JB was actually at that event, how important it is to let go and allow things to unfold because it unfolds in a way and in such a beautiful intelligence that none of us could have prepared. And so this podcast is if you're trying really hard in life and it ain't working out, I'm going to propose to not know. Just don't know. See, if you don't know, you have to come from something else and you got to do it on the spot, right? And what is that thing that is the something else? And that's the thing that I've dedicated a lot of my life to, which is finding our truth. And that truth is a being. It's not a be, it's a being. And to being, it can't have a planner. It can't have a investigative journalist over their shoulder the whole time saying, "Excuse me." And you know what? Like, fuck off, mate. Leave me the fuck alone, you stalking fucking asshole, right? Because it just shits me and it's boring. And it's always got a boring, limited story of, and it just gets me annoyed with humanity and myself. It's always myself because I'm always struggling just like you guys. And I've just got a few tools and techniques that sometimes work. So what I want to do is I want to ask this guy who really, we first met on a mastermind, I think it was,
Yeah.
a friend of ours mastermind. And I remember I was blabbing on about something or other. And he said, "I just love what you're saying. Keep talking." And I was like, I don't know, a little shocked by that. Like, why would anyone want to hear this? And that moment, I'm going to hand over to JB of how he went and who was he then? What was life like for him then? And what's happened? What like just tell us, tell these people here about a process that just happened without any thought.
So, a couple of quick things. Thank you. And I think this is breaking patterns and from excitement. This is fun, right? So I already like that we're here. We're doing this. So where we met, yeah, I thought you were this crazy person. We didn't really get much of an intro as to who was on the call. So
No.
it was you went deep quick. I like, whoa, I have no idea what this guy is talking about, but I'm really interested, but also what the fuck is he talking about? And I think at the time I was driving and I had to pull over and I'm like, I
Oh,
don't know if
that's
I'm quite
right.
following, but I want to know more. Like, tell me more. So then, like, time went. We didn't really talk or anything, but where I was in the business, running the YouTube channel and membership and all this stuff, is I kind of got to the place where I ticked the goals that I'd wanted, that I'd set. And, first world problems, you've got a business that's doing well and all of this stuff. And I was like, I'm bored. It felt like Groundhog Day. And I'm not someone that journals, but I found this the other day and I was telling you this. I have two journal entries that I've written ever. The first one was at that point, and
Was it?
it was, um, I'm bored. This feels like Groundhog Day. There's got to be something else. There's got to be more to this. Like, what's next? I don't know, but I'm bored. It was pretty
Mm.
much
What was the second
the
one?
the next one was I just snapped my Achilles, and this sucks. Like, what the fuck? How did this happen? I was doing jujitsu. I was doing CrossFit and hit workouts. Like I was fit, probably the fittest I'd been. And how did this happen? So it was this piece of things aren't going well, I'm bored, or things are going well and I'm bored, to then a stopping moment, snapping my Achilles. And then, funnily enough, you were showing up in conversations, even if it was people weren't directly mentioning you. It was making that connection for me, like, oh, I need to call Nathan. I need to connect with Nathan. I think when we first jumped on a call, I said, I don't even know how you work with people or like, but I need to talk to you. And we've been going down that rabbit hole of, yeah, everything from there, which is who I am now, just coming out of that second event of yours, changing realities. It was a really good contrast for me to see who I was going into the first one of those a year
Which was a
before.
year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, to now. And I actually had the workbook fall out from last year. It fell off the shelf yesterday. Actually, maybe when we were on a call, that
Yes.
it actually fell out and landed on my lap. And I'm
And
like,
what did it
okay,
say? What did you have
it
to read?
it was that last year I was lacking purpose, direction, and it was showing me the fears and things that I had. And then this year it's let's make it happen. As in, I've got the direction. Let's do it. But it was showing me different areas where I was holding myself back, which to me was really interesting. So, because I think what's the saying, new level, new devil, or whatever, whether you believe that or not, but it was like new. Here's my new
Never
set of
heard that before.
challenges.
That's like a bumper sticker. I like it. New
Huh.
level, new devil.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's kind of it. That's how we met and we started working together. And I think the first call that we had so much interference that
That's right.
the Zoom calls were dropping off. And I was like, oh God, this guy's got terrible internet in Byron or wherever he is. Come on, how hard is it to get good internet?
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was interference for us connecting and working together. And we've actually had a lot of that too.
Let me ask you, what is interference?
I would look at it now and say that I go with two places here. There's part of it knowing that from working with you that we've created this, that there is no one else here. And I'm still grasping with that concept. So, in which case, we've created it for ourselves, but why? But I'd also look at it and say, well, there's probably other things at play that were stopping me doing what I need to do, stopping you doing what you need to do, stopping us connecting, stopping or slowing the process.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
How
Why
would you
did
define it?
Hmm. Well, everyone that's listening to this, you may have had this experience where you're trying to talk to someone and it's just not allowing. Or, hey, you got to get to this event, but the kids are doing this and now the car's broken down. Now there's a road traffic in the way. Like it feels like everything is literally stopping you to going to that thing. And I look at that thing as kind of like an aeroplane you got to get on. And that airplane's taking you to a journey, and that journey is departing away from an old identity. And the old identity is very powerful and creating what I call identity drag, which is pulling you back. And it's very, very powerful. And as you know, my work involves consciousness physics. And I think this is where I sort of dropped away from the mainstream completely because I was only interested as an entrepreneur in what worked, and I wasn't interested in anything else. And although that was uncool or woo woo or whatever, to me, it was like I don't really give a shit. I just want to create that reality, that money, that house, that farm, that whatever it may be. So I don't really give a shit if this is too woo woo or too out of space for you. And I remember looking out at space and feeling comfort because, oh, everyone thinks this planet is like it. It's an infinite realm in every direction. And there was comfort for me with that because of the paradigm that I had entered was an infinite one. And so when I meet people, I often meet them in the tadpole stage of the metamorphosis. And they've got symptoms such as an Achilles or a purpose is lacking. And so this is the pressure point that has been created. The archetypical structure calls it the destroyer archetype, and it's chipping away at the old identity. And so health was a big part of your identity, right? So if it was allowed to continue, there wouldn't be enough pressure to allow water to flow past this junction, if you like, to a new junction. And of course, the soul has a plan, and the soul chose the parents, it chose everything that's happening, even though that's hard to hear, even though that's really hard to hear for a lot of people that may be listening to this. But if you can get on the bandwagon of this and start to operate from a paradigm that everything is actually perfect and that everything is actually working out exactly how it should be, and that there's a transition point in the human. And there's a transition point because there's two consciousnesses. There's a three-dimensional vortex that's like training wheels to help you not cross the road when it's busy, or say something to a really tough guy with tattoos all over their face, or like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Or yeah, and I think like, and I don't want to digress because young children, I think, are being taught, especially in my area in Byron, about spiritual principles. And I don't know if that's really correct because you need to go through the egoic infrastructure to create the pressure that allows you to not be enough in order to discover a new version of you that's coming from a completely different place. Um, and again, I could go off in all sorts of tangents there.
So the interference then for that piece, where does that come in?
So the interference to me is basically a threshold guardian. And that threshold guardian is something that sits at different energy levels. For me, there are different paradigms of efficiency. There's the law of separation, which is not an efficient place at all. It's contrast, it's very three-dimensional vortex, equal opposites. Then we have the law of love, and the law of love can unwind you from the law of separation. But from the law of love, there is the law of light. From the law of light, there is the law of one. These are, think of them as radio stations and or broadband or like broadband packages, right? To put into a computer context. So at the law of one, this is like the best, highest definition, unlimited version of being able to receive any television program you want, right? But law of separation is really crappy. You don't actually have really good reception, so you're kind of working from a memory and what everyone told you it should be, right? So you're kind of like I'm watching a TV show that's not the real show. It's like what everyone told you the show was about.
Mm.
That's actually a good analogy now I think about it. So the distraction, it's like it is everyone. That's history, right? History is what someone else told you, whether it be true or not. And a lot of us carry that in us. So when we go to move forward, we've had destroyer archetype come in, and destroyers coming in because we didn't listen. There would have been signs, there would have been things. Not many of us listen. Most of us need to have a good whack. And so we turn the dial up on life until it squeezes us out of the old version of ourselves, which is the old identity. And so when we're on that journey, we are now having to enter into a more authentic version of ourselves, second mountain, if you will. So you had a first mountain achievement, and that was easy. I mean, it's never easy, but it's easy because you don't have to
Yes.
work out what I am.
Yep.
Your what I am is what I do.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, what I do is boring. And now I've got a problem because I've got a core identity issue. And now energy can't arrange itself anymore. It's getting confused. It's like I'm pouring water into a glass, but I'm holding the glass over here and it's just falling on the ground. It can't hold it in a container anymore because it's shifted. So when the interference is there, these are the old history that have formed the old identity and they're fighting for their survival. Now, resistance comes, and normally in ways that are quite energetically powerful, because uh, you need to remember yourself as the powerful one to deal with them. And it's waiting for you. So you get something thrown across the bow that pushes you back to the old to tell you you're not that powerful. But in truth, you really are. And so for me, there's distraction. What do we use the word? Disturbance, right?
Interference.
Interference. Wow, I don't know the word. Interference, right? Is really a way to sort of throw you off the track, keep you back in the old ways, and believe, yes, there's a roadworks in the way. I'm not meant to do this,
Mm.
but you know you do.
Even this call, there was tools and things and whatever. Like there's always something that could stop, and
Always.
yeah, it's pretty interesting to see.
And see, for me, I understood this to be energetic. And so instead of believing the roadworks are going to block me, I knew straight away this is something inside what I call a vortex that is keeping an old identity alive. And it will do extreme things to make that real. And you mentioned this before, and it's a very deep concept. And it's not one that you need to dive into, but it's one that you can potentially have as a ally, kind of like death. If I knew I was going to die in a year, what would I be doing? Right? That's a great rudder to steer your life in a way in which it gets deeply satisfied, it expresses its legacy, and it leaves something behind for your kids and life in general. And a great question, if I was going to die in a year, is this for me?
Mm,
I often ask that. Well, if I said there's no one else here, then what it does is it removes all lower consciousness of it happening to me, and I can immediately jump into it's happening for me. So if there was no one else here and I've got this asshole that fucking did this and this and this, and then, someone says there's no one else here, you're like, but I need to be angry at this motherfucker.
mm,
And the reason why I need to be angry at him, because it's easier for me to be angry at him, because if I remove that problem, the fear of what is beyond that problem being solved is still there. So the vortex is very good to create a problem in front of you that you can focus on instead of focusing on the real thing, which is the imprint an energetic formation of ideas that have been from experience that have been held alive by a belief system that created it to be a good or a bad event and therefore a charge. Now, when we're born, as is also for animals, we also inherit the imprints from our parents. And we are born into an environment like what we were saying before, where someone said they watched Top Gun, the movie, and I never got to see it. So I have to like only go off what you're telling me it is.
mm,
And then because I'm only little and small, I have to like survive as a youngster. And so therefore, if dad tells me Top Gun was this, then that's what it is. Because then he'll love me. So then now I have never watched the movie, but I've now got an idea of what it is. And these have been passed down for generations. And so when we have an Achilles or we have a crisis moment, it's only a crisis because there's an old energetic system, kind of like Bill Gates, right? And his attempt of vaccinating the world, and and it all came out the Jeffrey Epstein files, of course, that he was, you know, wanting to put on this coordinated um, money making attempt for him. I mean, why would anyone want to do that other than being demonic? But anyway, um, so when we try to move forward, we are always coming against what we have inherited and coming against uh, disturbance, and it requires a new version of us to solve it. And when we have the old version of us trying to solve it that created it, the energy doesn't work that way. If the same guy that caused the fight tries to get out of the fight, you'll stay in a fight.
yeah.
So all of a sudden, I find that consciousness or ourselves or our soul, whatever you want to call it, finds a way to attack the identity, the old identity. In a lot of cases, that'll be money. In a lot of cases, that'll be marriage. In a lot of cases, whatever it may be. And for anyone listening here right now, you'll know because it's the thing that you don't need to guess, is it? It's a personal thing, and you go, I know, I didn't listen, I saw it. It's like a nanosecond of little information. Like, yeah, I got to talk to that Nathan guy, or I got to talk to Cock and Balls, or I got to, blah, 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 blah. And we didn't do it, did we?
No, I had signs for a long time looking back, and I was in comfort. Like, oh, I'll explore this
But what is comfort?
further.
What is comfort for those listening, for those in that comfort world and know there's something not right and you're not doing anything about it? And you know a destroyer archetype's coming. Come on, let's just be honest, right? Of
Yeah,
course it's coming. It's called evolution. We're all part of it. We can't avoid it. So what is comfort? What is that really?
safety. It's not uh, really doing what you came here to do. Your soul mission, your soul, like something that is fulfilling at a soul level. And that's why I was feeling empty and on Groundhog Day, knowing that there had to be more, but it wasn't enough of a pain point for me to go and actually do something with it because it was, I'll tomorrow, or yeah, I'll do that later. And the amount of times that I was actually shown, again, looking back and having every time I looked at the clock, it was 11:11 or 2:22 or whatever. There were signs, and I was even looking at what would this mean? Oh, communication's trying to come through. I'm like, oh, okay, what does that mean? Like, kind of dismissing it. All right, well, it needs to be more clear. Well, what's more clear than snap your Achilles, now stop, now people show up? Very obvious. Um, yeah, for me to pay attention to play a bigger game here.
You say what would be more clear. When we first started working together, can you recall the first time you traveled in the quantum realm and you met something that you were undeniably meeting, talking with, communicating with, that had full intelligence, that knew only what you would know? And you talk about being clear, like an Achilles snapping to me is not clear. An Achilles snapping is the thinking mind can come up with all sorts of ulterior motives to keep identity drag.
Yes.
But if I'm having an experience with my awareness in the quantum field, tell me about, doesn't have to be the first one, the most notable, because you've had lots of these experiences now. And this is what happened to me as well. I changed radio stations and I tuned into a different dimension. And it was far cooler than this shit one. Not that this is shit, this is fun, but it's much better to have that one with this one, other than
Yeah.
just that one, right? What was something that you tuned into, and how did you know it was real?
So, a couple of things. The first time we jumped on a call, I was definitely very skeptical. Obviously, things were dropping in and out and whatever. So, there's two things that happened. The first one was that we did, I guess you would call it a meditation, where I shut my eyes, whatever. You could see what I was seeing, but I was able to feel it. So those two things that you could see what I was seeing, and I didn't normally see things in a meditation, but also that I was feeling it. Like at that point, the skepticism and everything went away. And I was like, holy shit, there's something here because I'm feeling it. That made it real for me. And that's where I'm like, wow, more people need to feel this because if you feel it, it's real for you. But to answer your question, what I connected with was my higher self. And it was me.
Mhm.
It was a version of me that's already done everything, the highest possible timeline, that was there to help and wanted to help. And it was this amazing, like a return home feeling, where you're just like you're not, you've got help, you've got support.
Mm.
Uh, yeah,
And for me personally, and I just did this in a session before, someone that's been unwell in a hospitalized way just accessed a resource that what you're talking about. It's undeniable. It is unquestionable when you're doing this. Now, I don't remember that session that you're talking about because we've obviously done a lot of them and we've done lots of group things and there's been so many. So I was seeing, and from what sort of naturally unfolded for me, which is the same and true for everyone, because we are all the same, I'm not any guru. I call myself a spiritual bogan, turbo bogan, that just had his John Deere tractor fixed today by a mechanic who charged me like 2 grand just to fucking drive there and back. Anyway, I'm not going to get angry. Just going to get on with slashing the field, mate. Um, oh, no, I just lost my track of thought. I just put myself into a vortex. I've been annoyed.
Oh,
See, and anyone that says that that doesn't happen for them is a liar because
yes.
the physics are real. We have one half has been a vortex, the other half being this limitless. So my question to you is, when all of a sudden you threw a quantum anchor and someone pulled on the end of it and gave you information about how to achieve what you really truly desire and literally gave you like the fucking USB plug for it, gave you, I mean, I've had other clients that literally got given the book to write, got given the script to create. And it comes energetically in such a way. It's like what? This is a resource we have? And tell me, like, how often do you use this now? Given
To,
before when we're Achilles, Justin, and it's funny, Achilles, Achille Justin. Anyway, the new version, like now that we have this new access point, what has that done for you tangibly? Because I don't like this spiritual out there shit that we're all fucking, woo-woo crap. No, fuck that. And I mean that in a really lovely way
yeah.
because I went through it. I went 10 years in it. Okay. I'm the full long hair hippie with a farm in Mullumbimby, right? So I know I've lived it. I'm talking from my own experience, but I've got 3 young kids and I want to take them on holidays and I want to do shit that's fun while I'm alive, period. Right. So the party's here. And I think that's the real integration of it. So back to you. What is it like? And this is probably a good way to, I'll ask you this question. When you're around people that are talking from a three-dimensional consciousness about their limitations, and you know that you have access to this, what's that experience for you now?
Oh, it's two. There's two. One of them is get the fuck out of there because it's so draining hearing them bounce around in their limits, their excuses, not taking responsibility for their life. But the second is fuck if you knew, if you were able to clear the bullshit and just be open to hearing that there is something else and it's you trying to help you and it's fucking amazing, then that's so it's both because some people are too stuck in their limits, their victim vortex, where they're not able to hear it. And maybe they're not ready, maybe they're choosing not to, or like it uh, there's people that are ready and that are hearing this and they're like, wow, yes, that like then this is for you. So to answer the other question where we were going before is how often am I doing this? What am I doing? The it's now multiple times a day. And whether I'm connecting with the highest version of me, my higher self, or just using it as a reset. Because same as you with your tractor road rage story there,
Travel
uh,
cost
th-
rate, yes.
yeah, travel costs, right? This and with the price of diesel too. Come on, like this,
Ah,
totally get it. So
totally.
with that, it's happening all the time. But this reset that you showed me very early on was just coming up out of your body, not overthinking it. Logical mind was like, what the fuck does that mean? Do I like where? And I'm a camera guy, so I'm like, am I like looking from what kind of an angle? Like I'm really overcomplicating it. And like what I love about what you taught me was just shut the fuck up. Just sit there. I don't need to breathe any certain way at any of my fingers in any certain
Oh,
position.
so boring.
Just imagine coming up out of your body and instantly you feel lighter. Like step outside of history and it's like, oh, it's peace here. And this is so much better feeling to what I was 30 seconds ago. And just acknowledging that there's a difference between what I'm feeling outside of my body, just switching off, resetting for a minute versus fuck, I was about to send this email that was going to fire this person or what, like whatever it is, the anger, the stuff that the vortex stuff, just feeling the difference. It's like this
Mm,
reset.
mm.
So that's I'm doing that constantly. If someone cuts me off in traffic, if the kids say something and I feel that I'm getting triggered, so I think that's the ability that I'm really trying to master the most is trying to catch myself in those moments so that I'm not full turbo bogan, saying things, doing things that I would regret. That I'm able to catch myself in that moment, but also know that from there we can connect with higher consciousness, higher beings ourselves, and
Resources,
ask,
let's call them.
yeah, and ask for guidance.
Let me ask you this. At Changing Realities, I put forth and I said, be at the cause and the effect will show itself. Oh no, I didn't. I said be at the effect and let the cause show itself. Well, I'm dyslexic as well, completely. Talk to me like, okay, so we can access our higher self. Cool. We can get a download of a new identity. Like a and that to me, what I created Changing Realities for, it is a literal new identity integration, uh, operation, so to speak. Um, but I bought the concept because the quantum field and how it works, right? It's a completely different way of an operating system, which is far more efficient as a human to live. Far more. There's no willpower, there's no pushing shit uphill. Talk to me about being in the effect and the cause will show itself. What is that, and how has it got a correlation to accessing quantum?
I think where I go with this is, and what you teach is we create things that supersede our problems. Where I know I used to go was to try and solve things and still do. And I'm just trying to catch myself, trying to solve things from here instead of out there, if that's the outcome that we want, that and we can bring that in and it kind of sorts itself out. Like a bit like an example. And I don't know if this is exactly where you were going with this, but this is something that when I first started to see this made it so real for me was I would have an issue or something that I was trying to solve. And so I would connect with the version of me that had already solved it. I
Yes.
don't know what the actual answer was. I'm just feeling into this has already been solved. And
Yes.
what was really cool to see is not how the message came to me and it was solved and I had to solve it. A lot of these things just solved themselves by themselves after I'd done that. So I had conversations with my business partner and brother. I have conversations with teams, and some of them might suggest things that are the perfect solution to that thing that they don't even know that I was trying to solve. It's like things then just line up. So this now whenever I am able to catch myself in that moment, I try to go to that place and hold that. And everything else just seems to line up to conspire to make that work in ways that if I had have tried to
How?
plan it out,
How is that working? And I'm saying these questions because I'm wanting you to we're talking people listening here, like quantum achievers, right? These people want to create things, and that ultimately creates problems. And what we're really talking about here is another way to solve problems in a much more efficient way that you
yeah.
may not have thought about. And it's very grounded and practical and real. So I ask you how. So you went into the quantum realm, spoke to the version of you, or touched or entangled with um, a version of you that has solved that, and then somehow it's solving itself. Now, someone, you were a skeptic. So I'm asking you,
Yeah.
as a skeptic, do you know how that's working, or do you now just go, it's happened so many times, I just know? Like what explain this to the skeptic listening, going, well, that's great, be in the effect and the cause will show itself. But what does that mean? And from a skeptical point of view, how do you explain that?
So I think there's a couple of ways. And the way that you teach this of not just feeling into it and to like that's a nice to have, that feeling is good by making it real, like feeling that it has happened is really the piece that it feels good when you've got the outcome there. And if we've got that, then obviously there's a disconnect between where that's happening and where we are right now. And so you teach to go further into that. Like, what resistance would there be between that outcome and now? And we can work out what those places are. Maybe there is some work that needs to happen that's going to get us closer to that. But it's almost like you've just got this fishing rod that's out there. It's like, all right, I've touched it, that's real. I know that that's fucking real because I felt it and I want that because it's usually something that is fucking exciting.
Yeah,
So
but if
it's
it's on
there
the
and it's like,
fish, if it's on the hook out there, it's not on the plate yet.
no.
So what's the difference?
The difference is that there's probably some shit in the way that's getting caught, some snags and things as you're reeling that in. And so,
Now, I want to ask you this from someone's listening to this, right? It's great for me to do it in this regards because I'm normally
yeah.
the one teaching all this shit till the cows come home, literally, right? And it's you're using this in a way in which you're getting results, as I do, right? And so it takes a while to kind of get the hang of this. But someone listening is going, I'm really struggling in life right now. How do I know I can get the fish on the line? I know what you're talking about because I can feel the potential, but how do I get that motherfucker on the plate? Right. So talk to me about that.
Okay. So you've got to want it too, in that, and without blocking it. So in at Changing Realities, you ran a session around money, right? So everyone wants money. We know we need money. So I was in this session, this journey with you, and I'm seeing money as this river. You said to tune into the entity of money, as we would the outcome that we want for anything. So I tuned into it, and I see this green river flowing down. And as I go to step into the river, there's this shield around me, right? So there's some block between that coming through me, filling me up, whatever it is. There's some resistance to that. So I want that thing, but I'm blocking it. So this is that the snags, and we're rolling it in. That we've got to work out what those things are. So there is a piece too of sitting with it and working with those. Is it a belief from your childhood or something that's happened that you then need to clear and be okay with, or acknowledge, or smile at, or like we need to be able to identify these things. Um, and that's what your processes have made really clear for me.
Right. So it's like making whatever the blocking is, making that visible and in a way in which it's solvable. And that's what I've worked really, really hard at is showing how a vortex works. And like
Yes.
the original separation comes in 8 different forms under the egoic agenda. And then it forms into a survival pattern of lack. And I wake up in lack. And because I'm waking up in lack, the quantum field is a signal to the field as I lack. So therefore, give me more lack, right? And because there's lack, I've got a problem. So I better solve the problem. And so I stay in a problem solving consciousness, but I also can't avoid, I have to avoid failure and have to avoid rejection at the core level of a vortex. Therefore, it just keeps going in cycles. So to break the cycle, it's to focus on receiving the fish as if it's happened because I'm sending my awareness to the future, but now, and the quantum field does not know the difference. It only knows the truth of you. And guess what? The truth is you are the awareness, not this. And that's why it responds to it. I don't think I even spoke about that before. It's very important to understand that it responds to the truth, and the truth is you, and you are the awareness, so which means that you can send your awareness wherever you want and create a new signal and broadcast it. Now, the thing that comes up is the fake you or the egoic you, edging God out you, right? And so, as you see that, there is a direct correlation and a mapping system of how it's not allowed to receive. Now, you tuned into money and you saw a green thing, right? And it will show you in visual things and it
Yeah.
helps to map your constraint. The constraint is the income, the relationship, and so forth. And that's a process, isn't it? It's not like a one thing we can share on a podcast. There's a series of journeys to find that at its different depths because consciousness physics isn't just on a conscious level or an unconscious level. It sits at a subatomic, at a cellular level. And so at these subatomic levels, they create gravity, and gravity is really a feeling of entropy, which is when I try to move forward and I have no reference to why, because the awareness that you truly are exists in infinite places, which means that all the lives that you've had have got imprints and memories of them that then correlate together to form when you try to move past that constraint. That's not safe. Don't earn more money than dad. Don't talk about spiritual stuff on a public display. That's unsafe, you know.
Yep.
So as we are reeling in the fish, these are the things that come up to play. And I remember watching you when this is probably a couple of years ago now. If that's true, I have
At the
no idea.
window.
at
That
the
was you at my window?
yeah, in the garden in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that. I was got some weird
Uh,
habits.
I left the curtain open. I like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I was just like, hey, um, I'm on the masterclass with you. You're like, wow. Now I
Just
completely forgot what I
derailed
was
you.
talking about. You did.
You remember
Uh,
me. You were watching me.
oh, yes, through the window. And I was talking about which I got you to feel these two triangles, and I asked you which one had the power. And you literally, I watched you feel that the vortex had the power. Talk to me about the power. What is that, and why is it so important to understand that?
Oh, he's kind of coming out with all the big questions. I like this.
It's much better me interviewing you. That's more fun.
This is where when we're getting in there before, I'm like, this is your program. Okay. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. So when we were doing the exercise, and I could feel the triangles, which one has the power? What is the power?
Why is it important?
Oh, it's really important because you're either giving the your attention, your focus to here, the 3D vortex, your repeat patterns where you're stuck in fear of bankruptcy. I'm not safe. I can't make more money than parents, or I won't be loved. I can't speak about spiritual shit because I'll look like crazy. That's what I thought about you when I first met you. But now, hey, here we are. So,
We're both crazy now. Welcome to
yeah,
the
that's
party.
it. Thanks for the Kool-Aid. So am I giving is my attention there, or is it on the out of that, into the quantum, that connecting with your higher self, your true power, the true you? And it's really interesting because you could even, I remember doing this. I could feel it when I assigned. All right, this hand is here, the bottom triangle, and the other hand is the higher one. I could feel it. And so the game then that you've taught me is that we need to have our awareness in the higher, uh, more than 50%. Make it 51 if
Why?
you can, because that's out of the bullshit, which is where we can then free up to do what we have to do.
Why? Talking
It feels
physics.
it feels better.
It feels better. Great. But and this is where I want to take away all the woo-woo fluff. The quantum field is a mirror. It works in a signal. You are either below 50%, which means you are attracting, or sorry, you are pushing away what you want, or you're above 51% and you're attracting what you want. If you are pushing away what you want and working really hard, you're going to burn the fuck out
Yeah.
real quick. You're going to be an asshole father, parent, whatever, and life is going to suck for you no matter what you do. And it's not just happening at a conscious level, it's happening at an unconscious level, and it's happening at a subatomic level. And that's where the power is. Because ultimately, who do you believe you are? That's why we talked about at the start, and we never know where we're going to head with these things, do we? We talked about at the start. Um, what do we? Why I don't know. It's not even in my consciousness anymore. What is the fucking thing? Distractions.
Oh yeah, that word. Interference.
Interference.
Yeah.
Because it's waiting for you to own who you are.
Yeah.
From what to whom, as my friend Guru Singh would say. From what to whom. And that is all the quantum field is waiting for.
So
And
when we
that's
first started working together, I drew the triangles as a reminder. I had it drawn on my hand to try and get me to remember. Whenever I looked at it, I'd be like, okay, where is my focus? Where is my attention here? My awareness? Is it here in the 3D shit, getting cut off in traffic and angry and being a whatever angry person, or is it out there? And that really helped me. It made it tangible for me to build that habit.
mm. And I think that, you have to be ready for this conversation. Because, like I said before, if we remove the problem that the vortex created, the fear would still be there of why you can't move forward. And so it's a great distraction and a great, it's very political, put it that way. Weapons of mass destruction. Really, it's about the oil and economics. It's a great bullshit story to keep us fearing what we really fear and stepping into what we want. So then the soul says, all right, well, he's an Achilles, or he's a marriage problem, or he's like this, right? So to finish up now, JB, how did you create your reality?
I'm creating my reality. I'm still creating it. I am my goal and my journey that I am on now is remembering who I truly am and what power I have, why I chose to come here, and remembering this stuff. This is the coolest shit as far as I'm concerned now. So this is my reality right now is this remembering process to go and help raise the consciousness of the planet to help make more people realize that there is so much more here than what we're seeing and that we don't need to be in fear and bullshit and all of that stuff, that we can actually have a good life and help a bunch of people.
Awesome. Thank you, brother,
Did I
for
just walk right around that? I think I dodged your question, but I don't care. I'm sticking with it. That was good because it was real. Yeah.
Well, that's it. You just answer it the way
Mm,
you want. So, guys,
yeah.
this has been the first podcast, I reckon, in over a year. I don't even remember how to put it on the fucking podcast. But anyway, we will work that out. And if you're watching this, listening to this, thank you. And hopefully I do another one soon. And I will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, JB, for being on the call.
Thank you.